All right, guys, we are back in Vancouver. The meetup in Southern California was awesome. Last Saturday, when I turned 30 weeks, we celebrated with 100 street parking members in the sun. Got a little workout and then flew home that same day. So here we are, we're back. We had an ultrasound this week. I think we were hoping to come home to our house being more put together, but it was definitely worse than when we left. And we're just rolling into now 31 weeks. All right, so we're home. It's Sunday now, and our house is like a construction disaster. Everywhere we look, there's like piles of stuff or just everything's dusty. Even though they've put up these nice walls, they're working in our kitchen now, which means it's dusty in here. There's clutter everywhere because we are down like 3 rooms of the house, and we had no food. So we went to Costco, and then we went to Freshie, which is the restaurant that over here that we go to when we're out of food. And Iwa, hey! The dogs are out of control. They're super cooped up in here. There's space to run around is very small. And this is we still have like 6 or 7 weeks of construction. So one day at a time. Feeling good after the trip. Knox was able to sleep pretty well. So it wasn't too big of a disaster this morning, but definitely ready to get back into more of our routine. All right, so I don't really feel like exercising. I don't think Julian does either, to be honest. But we're going to just move. I might alter. So Saturday's street parking workout was wall balls, dumbbell snatch, and toes to bar. I might just do like a little 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off of wall balls, dumbbell snatch, and bike for like 15 minutes just to do something. Whenever you come home from a trip or something similar and you haven't worked out or your schedule's been off, you just kind of got to break the seal and not have any expectations for it at all. I mean, I need to enter the no expectations mode even more so now for the next, not just 10 weeks, but like 4 or 5 months. Because the postpartum period is even harder, and I know that because I've done it before. So gonna go do something just to move and to keep consistency. I know both of us will feel better once we do it, but it's just getting going that's hard right now. All right, so it's ultrasound day. Don't mind Nelson, just creepy back there. Hopefully they'll let him film. We're just about to pull up to the birth center, midwife office. We haven't had an ultrasound here yet. But because I had the 2, nice. Because I had the 2 like ultrasounds where they were very unclear about whether baby B had a big stomach or something wrong with the shape of his stomach. And then we switched over to care over here. I wanted them to look at it because I'm still confused about what the issue was. I'm still not clear about if there even is an issue, and hoping that these guys are able to give us a little bit better of an answer, or at least just check to make sure everything's okay. So this is not like a necessary ultrasound. Normally I wouldn't be having this, but just because there was that thing that came up before, they're gonna double check it. Because if there are any issues with the baby or the mom, typically they won't let you have your birth at a birthing center, which would be really crappy at this point. But the good news is we get to see him.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully everything's good. I will get to see what position he's in and everything, and then we have an appointment right after with the midwife, just like our regular appointment. So it'll be a little bit of a longer one today, and hopefully we'll be getting some footage of the ultrasound.
Hey! Besito, besito, besito.
Can I show you something? I'll show you this.
Yucky.
Who is this? Mono, come here. Who is that? Yucky. Who's that? How do you know that?
Yeah.
He's like, duh. Okay, Mono. Come beso, Mama. Any besos? Any besos? Besos? Mono, tell him good job. Beso him. I love it. I mean, if I could see him every day, I would love it so much. I think every mom probably feels that way. I don't like doctor's appointments, and they start to get annoying at the end, but anytime you get to see the baby, it's just so awesome. Now this isn't like a regularly scheduled ultrasound. I got to have I ended up getting to have 2 extra ultrasounds in this pregnancy, because in my anatomy scan at around 20 weeks, they noticed that, so in an anatomy scan, they look at every little tiny detail on this baby's body. They look at their bone length, and they look at their heart and the 4 chambers of the heart and their kidneys and their spine and the blood flow of their spinal cord and brain. If you've never seen one of these, you would be blown away. So on that anatomy scan, one of the things that they looked at 20 weeks was his stomach, not his actual stomach, but the organ of his stomach. And I guess there's some things that they can tell if it's enlarged or too small or whatever. And the very first time that they looked at it, they said his stomach was slightly larger than average or something like that. And they said it's probably just because he had just swallowed some fluid. Happens all the time. We're going to have you come back and check it just to make sure that it was just a random thing. We see it all the time. All right, no problem. I was just stoked that we got to see him again. So 4 weeks later, at 24 weeks, we went back. I think this was right after New Year's or maybe right before. And this time, the people that were at this appointment, and I'm not even trying to be rude about these people, but they confused all of us there so much. So I was there, Julian was there, and then one of our video guys was there, and all of us were so confused. We said, so what's up with his stomach? Is it large? And they were like, well, it's not. No, it's not large, but it's long. And we're like, okay, is that sounds weird. Is that? And they're like, it's not too big. It's just a little bit longer than the normal parameters. But you shouldn't worry about it. And we were like, well, is this something that we need to look at again? If it's not in the parameters? And they were very, very unclear about all of it. And we just left so confused. And it was very much I know doctors these days have to be so careful about getting sued, and so they were just scared to say it's completely fine or no, you got to come back again. So they left it very gray. Anyway, I switched over to working with a midwife after that last scan, and we talked to them about it. And obviously, the midwives at this new place, they got all those records, and they weren't concerned about it based off of what they read. But when you're pregnant, any little tiny thing that might be wrong with your baby keeps you up at night, right? So I told them I would love to have you guys look at it, and I would love to have you tell me from you looking at it that it's fine. And so they said, let's wait until you're further along, because sometimes this stuff won't even show up that it is really an issue until you're in your 3rd trimester at least. So that's why I got to have another ultrasound. They were going to look at his stomach again, and they went through the whole scan again. I feel it was faster than the first one for sure, but it was like brain and nasal bone and like eye sockets and 4 chambers of the heart and like his kidney, all of it. Again, they looked at everything. They told us that he has a lot of hair, which you wouldn't think of a baby at 30 weeks. I mean, he still had 10 weeks to go, even having hair at all. And they were like, you can see the hair like floating around in the amniotic fluid. And so that was kind of fun. But they did say his stomach is completely fine. He was 3 pounds and 5 ounces in there. How they can tell that, I don't know, to be honest. They just measured some things, and it's probably like an educated guess more than an actual accurate weight. And that's right in the middle at 46th percentile of like at 30 weeks, size of a baby. And he was still head up, which moms know, like at some point you want the baby's head to be down, or it's going to be a really hard delivery, or you're going to have a C-section. The midwife also told me, like, hey, head up at 30 weeks is fine. And because you've had a baby before, if at like 38 weeks his head's still up, we can turn him around, no problem. So all in all, the appointment was awesome. It was like, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, my experience with midwives has been so positive compared to my experience with OBs. And actually, we found out that the OB I was working with is no longer even with the practice that I was, so I would have had to switch OBs anyway. Nothing at all against OBs, obviously, but they see a lot more patients, and they're not able to get to know them as well. And so I love working with the midwives, and I'm excited to have baby be at the birthing center, and we're getting to know all the staff there and everything, and it was super positive. I know one of the questions that was up in the air from my last appointment was they wanted me to get the, I think it's called the Tdap vaccine, which is mostly for pertussis or whooping cough. And I am a vaccinator. Knox is fully vaccinated, by the way. But I do like to research that kind of stuff before just saying, yeah, this shot, that shot, just give it to me, right? So I told them, do I need to do it now? And they said, no, just let us know at your next appointment if you want to do it or whatever. If you get it anytime before 36 weeks, it's fine. But it would be a vaccine to prevent me from getting whooping cough, which should transfer to him so that after he's born, he's protected from it. And I listened to some podcasts and read some things. And I remembered from when Knox was born that there was a similar named vaccine. And I was like, I feel like they give that to the baby, like pretty early. And so I researched it, and it is true. They do vaccinate for that around 2 months. And the major thing that I got from listening, and again, I am not an expert, but I do try to stay away from stuff that's just not necessary, in my opinion. And because they do a similar vaccine at 2 months, and our lifestyle is that we won't be using any public daycare. We will be at home for 2 months. Knox doesn't go to public daycare. Knox doesn't go to school yet. I'm not taking this baby with me to New York on an airplane. I didn't feel like it was necessary to get the vaccine just for his first 2 months of life, when he will only be around a very small group of people, and not really out in public too much. So just for me, we do vaccinate Knox, but the less shots and the less chemicals and the less things, the better. So we chose not to do it. And I think everybody should make those decisions on their own and know your lifestyle and know where you live and who the baby's going to be around and what kind of environment, and all of that. But that was the decision. So we ended up not doing it, and they didn't press it at all. We just told them we weren't going to do it, and they were totally fine. Hey, it's Thursday, February 19th, I think. So the last few days have been a disaster. Basically, we came home from our trip last week to multiple disasters. To the main one being, I mean, our house is just a wreck. The main one being that yesterday, or I guess the night before, late at night, our website for our program started having issues. And we were kind of thinking that it was just some regular maintenance, so we didn't worry about it too much, but it never resolved. And then we had some people looking at it and trying to fix it and work on it, and then somehow overnight last night it got even worse. Like, now it's not even usable, and this is a big part of our business and a big part of something that we've spent a lot of time and money developing, so that our members have access to stuff more easily, stuff that they can all access in other ways, but just an easier place for them to find all of it in one place. Yeah, and just, this is one of those things where at almost 31 weeks pregnant, and owning a business with this many moving pieces and this many employees and this many customers or members, is a position that not many people will find themselves in ever in life. It's a lot of stress. It's hard to sleep. When you're pregnant, life still happens around you. So there are pregnant people when an earthquake happens. There are pregnant people when hurricanes happen. And there are pregnant people when, actually my last pregnancy around this same time, one of my very best childhood friends passed away. And these things happen. Like, you have to deal with life while you're pregnant. And the further along you get, the more tired you are, and the more all this stress can really affect everything. So this week, nothing like a natural disaster or a death, but the website for street parking it melted. I don't know what happened exactly still to this moment, but it's been 3 days ago. It started looking kind of weird, and then we were like, okay, it doesn't look great, but it's still readable, usable. The people that noticed it at first said they're probably just doing maintenance on Squarespace or something like that. It'll go back to normal. Well, the next day it was like Knox made the website. It was bright green with weird fonts, and you couldn't read anything or find anything, and links weren't working, and it was just completely unusable. And to be honest, as silly as this might sound to somebody who's never been in this situation or never owned a business that they've put so much into, street parking is just as much one of my kids as Baby B or Knox, and he was sick. I don't know, is street parking a guy or a girl? I don't know. Anyways, so in those moments, whether it's, some random tragedy that happens, or some stressful job situation, or some stressful family situation, you have to remember that this is it's not, I can't stay up all night long. I can't fix this myself and just hammer coffee and Red Bull and make this I have to sleep, I have to eat, I have to stretch, or I'm gonna be physically messed up. And I think pregnancy is a really great time to learn self-care, in a way, because it's not as selfish, because you're taking care of yourself so that your body can take care of this baby. And so I was up pretty late one of the nights, but it was there's nothing I can do right now. We've notified the members, we've got people that are looking into it. I just need to go to sleep, so that I can do better at taking care of this stuff tomorrow, and so that I can take care of Baby B. Remembering how much more tragic the loss of my friend was in my last pregnancy definitely helped me keep perspective on it. And it's this isn't that. It's a website. It's fine. It's something that means so much to you with your business and everything, but it's fixable, whereas some things aren't fixable, So yeah, it was a good lesson in letting go, because especially if you're a first-time mom, that's something that you have to learn in pregnancy, or you will be taught really quickly once the baby comes out,
is that you will feel helpless so often. And like the baby's gonna be crying and you don't have any idea why for like hours. And there's nothing, like everything you've tried doesn't fix it. And you've just gotta like take care of yourself so you can take care of them type thing. And it's not completely resolved right now, but it's getting better. And pretty much everybody was able to stay really calm and the members were really cool about it. I mean, when I posted about it, some of the like main comments were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening when you're this far along in your pregnancy. Make sure to rest, make sure you don't, like they were worried about, the moms knew like, oh crap, like I can't believe she's going through this at this point. With our house the way that it is right now and the website being the way that it was and just some other stuff going on, I was telling one of our employees, like 9 weeks feels like 9 minutes right now. Like I don't have time to fix this. Like I felt this pressure to fix it now or else it's gonna be too late and then everything's gonna fall apart or I'm not gonna be able to, you know, be with baby B once he comes. So the house definitely still feels like that. The website thing, I feel like we've got handled, but life goes on, right? So I do a really good job at putting myself in these situations, maybe too close to the finish line sometimes. And that's definitely something that I need to rein in a little bit too, but we have single-digit weeks left and things are definitely getting exciting and we can't wait to see what happens next.
I don't know if you can hear, there's like someone literally right on the other side of that wall right now doing drywall and just, oh man. Anyway, this week with all of its challenges was still good. He's moving so much and everything, so we're happy.